I'm finishing up letting my phone charge. All I've been doing is hanging out today in the room because there's not really much else going on. I tried using that restream that does allow me to stream to two different ones, but for some reason, I don't know. Um, Riverside at least lets me export and it makes the clips and everything. I don't know, but I'm just gonna do this to let you guys know on Twitch because you guys have been more interactive with me. I don't know, guys. It's just one of those things. I've been trying to find the right platform. I know I keep going back and forth on different things, but for me, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to find which one will actually work better for me and what I'm looking for. So, because eventually I do want to be able to get to the point to where I can do, on um, multiple platforms, so that way it's a lot easier instead of having to say, okay, well, I want to do this one today and this one, another day. I'd rather just do it all in one and be done with it. That's why I was thinking restream, but it is what it is, though. Yeah, there's nothing really going on here. I'm just sitting here hanging out. I'm waiting for my wife to get home. It's 4:03 in the afternoon. I have to go to work tomorrow. Pretty much the rest of my afternoon is going to consist of taking care of my son, helping my wife with dinner, putting groceries away. What else? Oh, and after dinner, I got to get my stuff ready for work in the morning. So, I guess tomorrow, like I said, is going to be tomorrow's my Friday, so it's the last day of my work week until the next Friday. So yeah, we got a busy afternoon. We got a busy couple of days coming up. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really having a really hard time with trying to figure out what I want to do. Stuff I want to talk about and everything is just, I don't know. It's just there's not much to go off of. Everyone else has pretty much already covered a lot of stuff, and I'm not gonna go and take that away from somebody, especially when all I'm doing is just my stuff is just for fun. Something to do on the side. I'm not doing anything for any kind of exposure or money or none of that. It's just, sit, hang out, talk with people, maybe make some friends. That's it. It's my way of kind of, you know, relieving a lot of stress, especially whenever when I'm off, I'm stuck at the house by myself. There's nothing for me to do. All I do is I do my housework and then I sit down, and any other time it's just, watching Netflix or YouTube. So I'm trying to find something else productive after I get done with like my housework and stuff, and just, like I've said time and time again, also get my feet wet again and making videos and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, over the years I've just had such a huge, creator block, I guess you can say, trying to figure out what I want to do, how I want to do it, how can I do it, stuff like that. So that's why essentially, like with my podcast, that's why I basically have it to where, it's like it says, we talk about anything, everything, or nothing at all. I mean, it's just, if you want to come join in and chat, then you're more than welcome to. So far, the only platform that I've managed to find that will allow me to do that better is the Riverside FM. But the only problem is the only one that I can afford would probably be the mobile, which is for your phone, which doesn't have all the other stuff that I would need, and that's like $9.99 a month for that. Through the one that's got everything that I'm looking for Riverside is $40 a month, and I with my part time budget, yeah, because like I said, I've already got Amazon Prime that I'm paying for me and my family, so that, like I said, we can order guinea pig supplies. So I don't know, just one of those things. I'd really like to be able to do something that I've been really interested in, but it's so hard to do so because of finances and then coming up with the ideas and so on and so forth. So, but like I said, it's really something I've really been wanting to do. I've always liked doing, making videos and stuff like that because, when I was in high school doing that in my TV and film class, I really liked to, sit down and we'd write a script, we'd get the script approved, and then we'd actually be able to go out and, film everything. But then, at the same time, we had more people that we could actually, work with and film and actually make the content in the, for the finishing product. But now, so it's like, I don't really have anybody. And, I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff that at my job that I can record, but I'd have to make sure I'd get permission. But also at the same time, I can't do it because it's, city property for one, and then two, I'm always so busy at work, I barely have enough time to even stop and take a break for 2 seconds or to really eat anything. So it's kind of like a lose-lose. So that's why, in turn, also, I've been asking, you guys, hey, if you have a topic you want to talk about, comment it to me, send it to me in a comment. Like I said, if we use any of the topics that you guys come up with, then, I'll definitely make sure, one, you're invited to join in, two, you're gonna get a shout out and everything, because I'm not taking credit for your idea, per se. So, because it's not mine, it's yours, and it's just using whatever my platform is to, talk about it. So that's what I do. I share the love. If you guys come up with anything and you want me to talk about it, you're joining me if you're able to, and or if you want to, and you're gonna get the credit. So, and it's not. Like I said, I'm not doing this for money. I'm just doing this. Like I said before in some of my other videos, we're human. We are meant to communicate with each other. That's how we are as a species. And that's how I realized too that, solidarity and having no one to talk to drives you absolutely insane. And it's just like my escape usually is after I get done with everything I need to do around the house. I'll sometimes sit down and play my PlayStation or watch YouTube or Netflix. But at the same time, you can only do that for so long, and there's only so much you can watch or so much you can play, and then I get kind of burned out on it. So that's why I was like, okay, well, now that I've got the means of actually recording and doing different things here at the house, I'm like, okay, well, why don't I just go ahead and start like a podcast or something where I can sit down with everybody, whoever is interested in joining, talking about just about anything, So that's why I was like, okay, well, that's another thing that I can do, instead of just bumming around the house after I get done with chores. So, I mean, I don't know, it's a little frustrating because, like I said, I always, like, when I watch a lot of my YouTubers and stuff that I follow, they just make it look so easy. Of course, then again, at the same time, they've got the equipment, they've got the money, they've got editors and all this other stuff. Whereas me, I have practically nothing. I barely have the means, equipment-wise, to really even do anything with. So, and like I said, having a little family makes it a little bit more difficult too to really do anything, because then you gotta work around policies with like YouTube with, filming kids and stuff like that. And I always have to tell them, I was like, I'm sorry, bud, you can't be in the video, you're not old enough. And then, so it's like, it makes it that much more difficult. So, I mean, I'd like to be able to even maybe like record some things that like we do together. Like, for example, when we went to the Yak Ranch where I'm at, and then another time we went to a farm in near Nashville that my wife wanted to see the capybaras there. They had a capybara experience that you can go in there and feed them and pet them and stuff like that. But I don't know, because I don't even know if there's any, like, I don't know how to really edit with this newer stuff. I've been used to like older kind of editing stuff, and that's pretty much obsolete. I don't even know how to like blur faces or anything else like that. So I don't even know if there's any free software or apps or anything that will allow you to do that. And I don't know. It just goes back to that. I don't really know where to start. That's why I'm like, okay, well, for right now with YouTube, I can do these like YouTube shorts. And then yeah, they're AI, but that's all I can really do right now. Until I can get better, whatever. Trying to, I don't know how to word it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm stuck. It's what I want to do. It's something I really like to do, but I'm just trying to figure out a way that I can actually do it. So that's about where I'm at right now. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure things out. So hopefully things, will turn around or look up. But I mean, one good thing though is I'm about to be at this job for a full year, so I got that to look forward to. I'm grateful for that. A lot of other places that I've, worked for before have completely and utterly screwed me over for all kinds of crap. All of them being false accusations of shit. When they investigate, then they tell me, oh, well, you didn't do anything wrong. You're in the clear. It was da 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 da. And then next thing you know, I still end up getting fired for absolutely no reason, while the person who started the accusations and shit still, gets to keep their job. So, and with the way job hunting is now, they just look at you and be like, oh, well, you weren't here from this to this to this to this. We don't want that. It's like, well, did you ever stop and take the time to actually ask somebody what their story is? Because I want to work. And when I do work, I do my job and then some. Because I put a lot of pride in my work. It's just frustrating being looked at as a piece of paper and then getting treated like garbage. And then getting let go for absolutely no reason whatsoever, even when you're being told that you didn't even do anything wrong. And it just made it harder for me to try to find anything. But at least they gave me the light of day and actually listened to my story and explained to them. I said, look, I don't care about the money right now. I don't care about the hours. I just want to work. Everything will fall in place on down the road. All I need is work. I'm tired of looking. I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of, being looked at just as a piece of paper and not being able to explain my story. So now I've got this, and at least I have a basis to go and do whatever. But it's just not as much as I'd like. In family situation, I just don't, I don't have anybody to really watch my son while we go do anything, and I have to have my availability for him just in case, if he gets sick or something. So it's hard to, be able to pick up another job and then not being able to commit to spending time with him. So yeah, it's just a lot of stuff that goes along with that and being able to create content and stuff like that. So, but at least, like I said, with working part time, at least now I can spend a lot of time with my family. And it also helps me a little bit of being able to experiment with things on here and with my, I guess you could say, my small, cheap studio. So, I mean, at least it gives me something I can work with as a basis. I mean, I'd like to get to a point to where I can bring you guys like way better content and, you know, come out of my shell a little bit more. I'm working on it myself too. Like I said, it's been since my senior year of high school, and that was back in 2009 since, I've really done anything like this. I'm trying to get there again. There's a lot of things have happened between, now and then. So, and I don't mean to be, kind of depressing or anything, but I don't know. All this time I've been, putting myself out there and trying my hardest, and I mean, I can only do so much. But those of you who actually have tuned in, those of you who actually, watched and subscribed or liked or messaged, like, you guys are awesome, and I greatly appreciate you guys. Like, you don't have to, sit there and take time out of your day to watch or, message me or like anything, but you do, and, that means a lot. It may not be like hundreds of thousands or millions, but I'm not expecting that anyways. So, even one. So, it just is what it is. So, I don't know how much longer it's going to be until my wife gets home. I don't know if she says she had to go to the store again. after work, and she's got to pick up Munchkin. I remember her telling me something about that earlier, but I couldn't remember if she said she was going after or if she went to the store on her lunch break. She might have ended up going back to go finish getting some more groceries beforehand, and then while she's out, going to pick him up. So I guess we'll see though. But in the meantime, I know I still have to go out here and finish washing this one bowl that I had from lunch because I was letting it soak because I had that Campbell's chunky beefy mac. I guess that's what it was called. So anything like that with the sauce like that, I always let soak for a while. That way it loosens it up and makes it a whole lot easier to clean, and it doesn't stain. But so those of you who tune in, I appreciate you guys. You didn't have to sit there and listen to me gripe, but you did. I love you guys for it. I may or may not go live again later. I don't know. It just really just depends on how the rest of the night goes. Because like I said, I got a lot of stuff I got to end up doing to get ready for work tomorrow. So, but if I do, I'll see you guys in the next live. Thanks again to everyone who did join in. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you guys later.